Alrighty, and another episode of Unprepared here. And today we're going to welcome Alex Beller. Alex is coming to us from Postscript, an amazing channel, I guess, as you will. SMS is the channel. You're an app, I guess. I don't know. What do you guys like? How do you like to self-identify?
I mean, I think everyone who builds a tech product wants to be called a platform, but I think that's the honest answer is we're an app. We're an app. Let's
Yeah.
be honest
Okay.
about it.
All right. All right, so from the perspective of an app, whatever. Your guys' platform is amazing. We recommend Postscript highly. So it's an SMS platform. It helps with communication with your
Yeah.
customers, and like right now with e-commerce, kind of blowing up and self-imploding at the same time. I don't like it's very all over the place. Something you can't control is like the communication you have with your customers. So I wanted to have Alex on and talk about kind of like, hey, these are some things you should probably be looking at doing if you're not doing, or like maybe testing if you are doing them. So with that, Alex, do you want to kind of jump in here and
Yeah,
start ranting?
absolutely. I appreciate you bringing me on. So I want to talk about two things today. One is like a long-term investment that every merchant should be making right now. And the other is a little bit more like short-term content discussion and like customer engagement discussion. So let's start with the long-term investment. So
Yeah.
last year, going through Q4, we saw enormous demand from new merchants trying to get started. In October and November, merchants were like, oh man, like I really want to like text my customers on Black Friday, right? Which, you know what? That's a pretty good idea. Like I am someone who's anti like lots and lots of SMS campaigns. I think the channel, because it's so sensitive and it can be annoying, needs like a very, very personal targeted approach. But sending a campaign out on Black Friday, pretty reasonable. But
Makes sense.
the issue that comes up when brands arrive at that idea late is that unlike email, SMS is so hyper regulated that you can't have the idea to text all your customers on Monday and do it on Tuesday. Instead, everyone who gets into SMS is starting from scratch, right? What that means is that you have to build your opted-in subscriber list up from zero and get what's called explicit written consent from every single user in order to text them. And in layman's,
So you're saying that this giant list of customers I have from the 10,000 orders I've already shipped, and I've got 7,000 phone numbers here. You're saying I just can't use that?
I'm saying if you send them a text campaign, first of all, using a platform like Postscript, you wouldn't be able to. But if you send them all a text, you will probably be served a class action lawsuit for millions of dollars because the statutory rate is $500 per message you send in class action penalties. So like, it's totally obscene and out of control, but no, you cannot do that.
That's why I asked the question.
So a very good leading question. So why I bring this up is because even though there's lots of folks out there who, like all of us are thinking about other things right now and life is distracting, but now is a really good opportunity to just start building your list. Maybe you can't wrap your head around marketing flows yet. Maybe you don't have the bandwidth to think about a campaign calendar for SMS. But if you think that you might want to, come Q4, be sending out marketing campaigns, be sending out triggered flows via SMS, now is the time to start building that opt-in asset so that whenever you are ready and when Q4 does come around, you're sitting on this gigantic pile of compliantly opted in subscribers who are going to open your message at like a 98% rate. So there's a couple of like simple specific things that I would recommend for people who just, they're like, all right, let's start to build the list, but like, I don't want to think much about it.
All right, let's hear them.
So the first is gathering opt-ins at checkout. This is so basic. It won't be that high volume, but we have a guide up at postscript.io where you can go. If you message in with our site, our team will point it to you as well. There's a little chat widget on the site. And you can add the proper compliance language so that at checkout, you're gathering compliant opt-ins. Right? That's like a really good, easy thing. The other thing I want to bring up is how many people would you guess like are utilizing a mobile pop-up of some kind? how many merges is
I'd
it?
say 75%.
Cool. So, um, what I'm here to advocate for is every one of those 75%. I don't want to mess with your email collection rates. I don't want to preach that you take this tech down and put something else up, but add phone number as an additional field on your existing mobile collection pop-ups, right? Don't mess with your email collection. Keep that going. If you like want to really go in on SMS and like focus on collecting phone numbers, we can talk about that. But on mobile, when your users are literally on their phone, add phone number as an additional field. We have all the compliance language for that on our site. You can grab it, copy and paste, but there's a bunch of different ways to do that. You could have a two-screen pop-up where it's email first, then goes to SMS, or you could just have them both on one page. But starting this collection effort now in just those really, really simple two ways of like adding a box to your mobile pop-up and adding the proper language at checkout, you'll be sitting on thousands of opt-ins 6 months from now. And that'll be more than worth the, an hour or two of effort to execute this today.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what you got to do. We actually just migrated a brand that's a band. I'm not going to say who they were, but we brought a metal band over, and the way that they split it up was they're doing email collection on desktop, and then the widget is SMS. I just flicked you off. SMS collection on mobile. So they're just splitting it right down the middle. And that's one way to do it, I guess.
That's super simple and clean. Some folks want to keep email on mobile and like add SMS as a secondary optional field. That's cool. You have to be sure to get the compliance language right there too. But either way, to your point, this is just like, let's get this fundamental up there. You don't have to start marketing to them yet. You can send a confirmation if you want to, but like just to be building the asset, just so that like you're sitting on a huge list of engaged folks in Q4 in the holiday season.
Absolutely. I mean, right now is the time to do it. Obviously, if you are a little newer and you are getting some of these sales, SMS is a great channel. I think if you haven't even started on email either, like get started there too.
Yeah.
Like you need to start collecting this information, make sure that your Facebook pixel's installed, make sure that your analytics is set up right. You have all that so you have all that data. So, when come like the big time for these sales, the holiday season, like you've got all this data that you can like remarket properly, and you can get some cheaper sales, especially when it comes, what owned marketing, I guess, is the big term these days with SMS and email. Alex, is there anything else that I forgot to ask you?
No, not on that. But if I have a minute, I want to talk about one other short-term thing.
You have a minute and 55
Great.
seconds.
We're going to keep it short. So we've been pulling a bunch of data over the last week and looking at like what's changed in the content of all the messages going out on our platform. And what's interesting is that about 23% of all messages that have gone out in the last month have been related to COVID or coronavirus, which is like startling huge percentage. But we did some, for example, the most used emoji in Postscript messages the last month is like the face with the mask on it emoji. And I bring that up because it's been really positive sentiment. It's brands like checking in with their customers and saying like, hey, we know this is a difficult time. Stay home, stay safe. We're with you. Reply back and we'll chat with you. And we did a sentiment analysis on all the responses to those campaigns. And the sentiment was so high. People appreciated this like non-marketing touch point in a pretty personal channel from a store or a brand that they probably feel a connection to because they opted into SMS. And so I just wanted to share that insight because the sentiment reaction from users was so high that I just want to share that like it's okay to do that. It's okay to send a text that isn't a marketing message, that isn't a call to action, especially in a time like this, just like a heartfelt, simple check-in from like written from the owner of the brand and signed off personally. I think that's a great use of the channel.
Yeah, I would second that as well. Alex, thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you.